Hello traders. My ideas are not trade recommendations, just my thoughts of what I'm thinking about the markets. You can follow me Gumby9662C on Twitter. And final disclaimer, be sure and like the video if you like it, and leave as many comments as you can at the bottom of my YouTube, below the video on YouTube. Okay? What I'm really watching here is the interest rates. We have Yellen speaking tomorrow, and she was a little bit hawkish. That's more talking like she wanted more interest rate hikes last time she spoke. But since then, we've had other Fed chairs and stuff speaking, suggesting a more dovish take, like maybe there'll only be one more interest rate hike this year. And if Trump is planning on doing everything he's planning on doing, I totally agree with that assessment on only having one more interest rate hike. And what we're seeing here on our TNX today, we managed to close right on our support line, lagging support line on our Ichimoku, and we bounced off our 50-day moving average. So what I'm seeing in this chart, we've come down, broke the 50-day moving average. Now we're back testing it with a pretty good chance that our interest rates are going to go lower here. And our MACD is confirming that thesis so far, even with our histograms negative and our signal line on the MACD is even more bearish. And with that thesis, going into tomorrow, one thing I noticed, we had another bond auction today, and we managed to close back inside of Friday's bar, which had auctions also. So this is a little bit more bearish take, in my opinion, for the bonds going into tomorrow. I did go long bonds into tomorrow, only 10 contracts, but so we'll see what happens tomorrow. But I am thinking interest rates are going to come in. That may put some pressure on our financials. One development we saw today, XLF gapped above this rectangle we have been trading in since November. So this is day one of a gap up on XLF, and what's driving this primarily is not interest rates. It's the belief that Dodd-Frank is going to get repealed, or parts of it will be repealed. So just keep that one in mind. Our MACD's turned up, and we have a bullish crossover on our signal line too. So this is coming off an extremely low area, and this is likely not to trade too closely with interest rates, in my opinion, in the short term. Another thing that I noticed today, the VIX versus the VXV. I was actually going to go long the VIX today, but it gapped up, so I stayed away from it. But you see right here, we did get a gap up today on the VIX versus the VXV. And that is quite surprising, because the VIX futures contracts, they don't expire till tomorrow evening. And so we haven't even had the rollover yet, and we've already got a gap up on the VIX. So I didn't look to see if the front month has changed yet or not. Maybe that's what's helping cause that. But at any rate, something to be concerned about is the VIX catching a bid here. Yeah, I looked real quick here. We got 2 days left. Yeah, they haven't even rode the active contracts yet. So yeah, that was a very bullish sign on the VIX today. Another important industry to look at is the industrials, XLI. We had a gap and go for the today on the industrials after a gap up Friday too, and it looks like we're going to definitely test this year-long trend line on the industrials. So it's really looking quite bullish for the industrials here. I'm expecting Caterpillar to make all-time highs tomorrow, breaking over or getting over $100 tomorrow. Boeing is going to get our signal cross tomorrow for bullish, so I'm expecting at least a trend line touch to be around 171, 172 area before we get any type of pullback on that. And then IBM, we're already above our trend resistance, and today is the first day we're actually breaking away from the trend line. So. And our MACD is all showing positive signals here. Chinese stocks are really catching a bid. China was up over 6% overnight, I believe. And we dojied out on Baidu today because the broader markets kind of hit a resistance level. But I do see some continuation in Baidu. Amazon's going to the moon today, so basically I'm expecting BABA to follow suit and to start catching a bid sometime this week. Today's major stories were about Amazon and Apple and Tesla. Amazon came up and we have a multiple top touch on Amazon today. It came back a little bit at the end of the day, but considering the stuff that they're putting in place here, I'm expecting Amazon to break out probably this week to new highs. Tesla looks like it's getting a little overheated here, so this is one that I would be considering for a blow off top and something as fast as it's going up here. At this red line here, 285 area, it has found responsive selling in the past, so just keep that in mind. I will probably be entering a short position here real soon. Apple's just a hair short of all-time highs. 134.50 through 54, I think, was the prior all-time highs. I think it's going to at least get a tag of that, and then maybe we'll see some profit taking. Now, one of my breadth indicators, which I use a lot, is the NYA. It's the most comprehensive view of the markets. It has more stocks than any of the other indices. And I want to point out this long-term trend line on the upper side here, we tagged it today. So that suggests to me that to see a gap up tomorrow is highly unlikely. And so just be careful on any longs. Another breadth indicator that I use is the RSP. It's the equal weight of the S&P 500. And we did manage to doji out a higher price today, but if this thing does catch some traction and catch the top side of this long-term trend line, that's going to be about another 15% on the S&P 500. So just keep that in mind. All your MACDs and stuff are showing very positive price action here. So this is something I'm just watching right now. If this breadth comes to fruition like I'm expecting it to, we got considerable higher highs. And everybody and their brothers pumping up Apple and Amazon today. And plus we have Microsoft is also catching a bid today because it goes ex-dividend. But I think most traders are seeing this trend line up here on the Qs, and I see us potentially catching that this week or next week. So just keep that in mind. And we do have C-Trip and TripAdvisor both reporting this week, and that's going to impact Priceline. So that's another major NASDAQ component. So just keep that in mind. We'll see what happens on those. That's all I got to say today. I'm not really going to talk about any earnings plays, but Cisco is on deck this week too. And considering everything else in that space has done extremely well, that's another driving force for the markets. So just keep that in mind, okay? Thanks a lot, everybody.